Hello everyone. Earlier, we generated the facial expression rig. Now let's talk about the weighting module. All the weighting module tools are in this column, and then, for these ones above. Firstly, this is the maximum number of bone influences. If it's a film project, we can set it higher. This is the same as the attribute inside this skin here. And then, after marking these models, directly add this skin. It can then skin our bones. After skinning, here we can see the corresponding model, its skin cluster node, and the status of its bones. These bones have two status. What does this mean, comma? For example, if we select this skin cluster, we see that this deformation using the model for skinning is enabled. Enable the skin surface and joint. Hide this model, and we'll see our initial rig skinning contents have two sets. One is our skeletal system, and the other is the mesh it created. The mesh it created is used to skin the model. If the model are skinned by the meshes, the property here will be set to false. If the model are purely skeletal skinned, it's true. Alright, the benefit of using this mesh for skinning is, for example, the entire eyebrow, it initially uses a mesh for distribution. Its weights will be more unified. If we need to make adjustments, it's more convenient. After the adjustments, it can be split to its corresponding sub-bones. Let's hide them for now once again. Now we need to mark these points. Once marked, we can proceed with automatic weighting. Usually, this button above will not be used. This is for dealing with asymmetric head or faces. Let's skip it for now. We only need to mark these four below. First is the vertices of the upper eyelid. Alright, let's select this model. Enter vertex mode. Hold Shift and press greater than key to expand the selection. These vertices of the upper eyelid, let's check them. For any redundant, hold Ctrl and drag to deselect. Let's reduce them. Then, add them here, right-click and mark it. Alright. The next one is the vertices of the chin, that is, this part when opening the mouth. Same as before. Let's select some vertices. If we look closely, it's at this position of the dividing line. Let's select up to here. Then, from the side view, let's continue select. Then, select all these area. Let's add them to the jaw area. Then, for the cheek area, let's select a vertex on the cheek and expand it. Alright. Let's add to a part then for the remaining areas. We need to use this brush tool. Hold Shift to add selection and select all these points. We only need to select half of the face. and add the cheek vertices here. Next, this is for the vertices of the entire face. Alright. If the head and body are combined, and when it performs a calculation, so it might be slow. Then we only need to select the part that needs weight calculation for this example head. Just select all points on the head and add it here. Fine, it's done. Next, there is number. What does this mean? Actually, it refers to the number of lines. From the outer eyelid to the inner eyelid here, we default to 3. Usually, 3 is enough. It calculates the weights between the inner and outer eyelids based on your model. Alright, let's leave it like this. With all key points marked, we can now execute the automatic weighting. Let's click here. It starts to computing. Please wait a moment. Okay. The automatic weighting is done. Let's take a look at the initial result. It already has weighting result. This eyebrow hasn't been marked. This eyebrow should be added to the accessory. Add it. After adding it, click here. Add this model. We just need to copy the weight to it. Its weight is almost the same as the faces. Alright. Copy the weight. Done. We can see the weight of these eyebrows and the weight of the eyelids. The weight of these eyelashes need to be adjusted a little bit. The weight of the eyelashes, it hasn't been automatically assigned. We can directly assign it to this upper eyelashes skin mesh. Just assign it. All this is for the upper eyelashes. We can hide these eyelashes for now. Good. The result of automatical weighting looks good. Next, let's talk about the weighting result of some area, which still need us to manually adjust. Let's open Weight Brush tool. We can see joints on top. And below are the skin meshes we mentioned earlier, such as the eyebrow. This is the jaw. If we need to adjust them, it will be easier in this skin mesh mode. For example, here and now let's skip the weight adjustment steps. Suppose we've finished weighting and satisfy. We need to split and transfer the weights on these skin meshes into skin joints. For this, we'll need a splitting tool. Split weighting can be done in two ways. Let's open the weight brushing panel. Let's click on this weight brush panel. We select the skin mesh influence. Then we click this split current activated. It will split its weight onto its subjoints. Let's click to split. To perform a split, wait a moment. After splitting, we see the skin mesh before is no longer present here, and the corresponding weights have shifted to these bones. Let's see the result. It's basically the same. Now, when splitting the mouth weights, we need to pay attention. If we split the mouth weights, like the upper lips weights, because our model has good topology, is more like a ring, a regular structure. When we split the weights, it can follow this topology, resulting in a better split. If our topology doesn't meet this requirement, and we split the weights, it will have to use the capsules distribution here. According to these capsules distribution, it will perform the split. Why do we need these capsules? Because our topology has a certain direction. We try to align the direction of these capsules with the direction of our topology. This way, when splitting, the result will be better. Let's examine both methods. First, let's activate it. Then click split. If it's the mouth area, it will ask whether to split based on topology or based on our capsules. Let's first split it based on the topology. Please wait a moment. Splitting based on topology will result in a smoother transition. If we split based on capsules, it's an approximation, especially if our mouth topology isn't very standard. Performing the operation can be less accurate. After splitting, let's take a look. Check it out. We need to mirror it over. It only split one side. This is correct. Let's see how it looks. The transition between them should be smoother. Good. If I split it and then want to adjust the weights again, we can reverse weights back to skin mesh. Just select any controller and click combine. It will combine the weights back onto our previous skin mesh influence. Wait a moment, it's performing a calculation. Okay, after combining, selecting the object again, it's back to skin mesh mode. Fine. This is splitting them individually. We can also split them all together. This will split all the weights. Let's click on that. After clicking, all parts will split in the default manner. When splitting the upper and lower lips, it will ask you for the splitting method. You can split it based on the topology. If the topology isn't good, use capsules for splitting. Here we choose topology. Great! We finished splitting this, let's take a look at the overall effect. Alright, this concludes our discussion on automatical weighting. Thanks for watching.